Several years after the type first entered service, Airbus is continuing to improve the A330neo. The European plane maker announced that from around the fourth quarter of 2025, airlines would be able to take delivery of the type with further performance and flexibility improvements related to the aircraft's low-speed performance. For today's video, we examine the performance changes being made and how this will make the aircraft more appealing to airlines around the world. The manufacturer has assigned an intriguing name to the latest improvements to the A330neo, covering both the A330-800 and A330-900. The changes will be known as the quote-unquote Step 4 package. According to Airbus, operators will benefit from additional takeoff weight capability, resulting in better performance during low-speed scenarios, such as when the aircraft is climbing. The Step 4 package should offer an additional uplift capability of around 2.6 metric tons or 5,732 pounds at certain airports. Operators of the A330neo that are conducting flights out of runway-restricted airports could benefit from as much as 4 metric tons or 8,818 pounds. Airbus noted that runway-restricted airports include such locations as Madrid Adolfo Suárez Madrid Barajas Airport, Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport, Roland Garros Airport, Düsseldorf Airport, Bogota El Dorado International Airport, London Gatwick Airport, Mumbai Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj International Airport, and others. Airbus explained that the performance improvements are achieved by providing intermediate flap settings marketed as Enhanced Takeoff Configurations or ETOC. Additionally, the aircraft will have faster landing gear and landing gear door retraction sequences. Detailing ETOC, the manufacturer said that the basis of the settings is the fact that the Airbus A320 and A330 common cockpit has 5 flap/slat lever settings: flaps 0, fully retracted, flaps 1, 2, and 3, and flaps full. Naturally, the flap setting choice depends on the available runway length, engine thrust settings, and other factors such as second segment climb obstacle clearance. For those unfamiliar with this side of piloting, Airbus explains the challenge, saying, "In general, the higher the flap setting, the greater is the associated lift produced during takeoff. However, a higher flap setting also naturally creates more aerodynamic drag, which could impact the aircraft's acceleration, especially during the initial climb phase. As such, if the airport runway allows, flight crews typically opt for a lower flap setting, with the typical setting being flaps 2, as it provides a balance between extra lift and lower drag for the takeoff and climb stages, respectively. Airplanes use high lift devices to allow them to fly at lower speeds without getting close to a stall. This is essential for safe takeoffs and landing." According to the European plane maker, there has been a significant aerodynamic jump between the 5 flap levers, allowing for the ability to introduce performance optimizations that smooth out flap and slat transitions with intermediate settings. These would slot between 4 settings, excluding the gap between flap 0 and flap 1. Notably, the changes do not require any physical changes to the A330neo. Nonetheless, starting in 2025, pilots of newly delivered A330-900s will have the option to use the intermediate flap settings, which they enter into the Multifunction Control and Display Unit or MCDU's performance page. As mentioned at the start, Airbus noted that ETOC was coupled with another measure to reduce drag: the ability to retract landing gear and landing gear door faster. In fact, the manufacturer has shortened the landing gear retraction time by 0.8 seconds, while the landing gear door's opening and closing sequence was shortened by 0.2 seconds. Unlike the software change allowing for additional flap settings, Airbus is using new equipment to make the faster retraction times possible. This includes a new main landing gear retraction actuator, a new flow hydraulic control device, and new main landing gear door actuators. Furthermore, the retraction sequences begin a couple of seconds earlier after the aircraft takes off. This shorter cycle is achieved via the automatic landing gear door opening function, a new feature on the A330neo. In case of an engine failure, the function automatically opens the landing gear doors 1 second after liftoff. Currently, the landing gear drops 3 seconds after the aircraft takes off the ground and only after the pilots pull the landing gear lever. The latest performance enhancements of the A330neo come after Airbus had already increased the maximum takeoff weight, or MTOW, of the A330neo from 242 metric tons, or 533,519 pounds, to 251 metric tons, or 553,000 pounds. It also changed what it considered a full economy configuration, increasing the maximum passenger capacity from 440 to 460 seats. There was also a performance enhancement from Rolls-Royce, improving the only engine available for the A330neo, the Rolls-Royce Trent 7000. Airbus also certified the A330neo according to the latest International Civil Aviation Organization, or ICAO, emissions standards. As a slight tangent, the Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA, recently approved these standards, essentially ending the production of the Boeing 767F starting in 2028. Looking forward, the European manufacturer has planned further upgrades for the A330neo, exploring 2 different paths simultaneously: efficiency and sustainability improvements. Airbus is planning to certify the aircraft to be powered by 100% sustainable aviation fuel, or SAF, while the current maximum permissible blend is 50%. The company will also explore general payload and performance upgrades. The A330neo, particularly when compared to the A330ceo family that it replaces, has been rather unpopular. With the jet competing against the Boeing 787 Dreamliner family, things look even worse. The poor sales may be a key driver for Airbus's attempts to improve the jet. At least at the time of this video's production, Airbus has delivered close to 130 A330neo aircraft, operating with 22 different airlines across the world. Some of the largest operators of the A330neo include Delta Airlines with 27 aircraft, TAP Air Portugal 19 aircraft, and Condor with 12 aircraft. Currently, there are 173 A330neo aircraft in the backlog. Malaysia Airlines is a notable future operator, having ordered 20 of the -900 variant. Adding additional takeoff capabilities could indeed help Airbus better market its products, especially the struggling A330neo. As of January 31, 2024, there have been 296 orders for the updated widebody, while its predecessor, the A330ceo, had amassed 1,475 orders, including 38 for the A330F. We know that Airbus is considering the development of an A330neo MRTT, which would almost certainly include these improvements that certainly appeal just as much to military operators. Guillaume Faury, the chief executive officer of Airbus, admitted that there has been very strong competition in the widebody sector, including downward pricing pressure from Boeing during a moment when Airbus has been attempting to raise prices, as was revealed during the company's year-end financial results press conference. Still, Faury emphasized that the price increases for twin-aisle aircraft have to align with what is believed to be reasonable to ensure the longevity of relationships with customers, namely airlines. Speaking about the wide-body market in general, the executive believed there would be more demand for twin-aisle jets in 2024. We need to invest, we need to innovate, so there are reasons why for the price is being increased, he concluded. What do you think of Airbus's A330neo performance improvements? Do you think these changes make the aircraft attractive enough to increase sales? Share your thoughts by leaving a comment. Simple Flying publishes over 150 articles every week. If you're looking for the latest aviation news and insights, visit simpleflying.com.